there in the big bad world. It's 11:32. Early again by a minute. That's awesome. Whew. Just ran from the washroom, so breathing heavy. 11:32. Do you know where your lunch is? Your coworker might be eating it again. Maybe you forgot to bring lunch. Maybe you're listening to this on your iPod as you walk down to the Fat Frank's in front of your building. Wait a minute. Hot dog vendors here in Alberta have stopped vending their hot dogs because it's getting cold. Sorry. No Fat Franks for you, man. Anyway, my name is IanTheHRPro. I'm an HR consultant. I have been doing this for some time. Wait, what did my notes say? I have over 20 years of leadership experience, a management degree, and I'm a CPA HR candidate. I've supported hundreds of businesses and nonprofit leaders over the years. I've operated my business, LBH Business Services, Inc., since 2020 with a 5-star rating on Google. Yeah, baby. The whole 8, 9, 10 people who rated me. I'm Indigenous, but I'm also half German. So I've lived that experience in both worlds of being a visible minority and having the power and privilege of a white-sounding last name. Yeah, today we are talking about Career Club. Today is Career Club. Resumes, cover letters, job hunts, interview prep, lateral moves, promotions, and all things career and or jobs. Job market, things like that. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. So, that power and privilege of my white-sounding last name, I got into a lot of interviews in the 2000s and 2010s, but it's dropped off now. I think it's dropped off because people can access my social media and see a photo of me and see information about me that you wouldn't have been able to see in the 2000s. Yes, that's Earl Grey tea. Got something in my throat as always. I don't know why I choose to do a live podcast. I can, at least when I'm making my regular long form videos, I can edit out the cough. This is going to be a few minutes for me to clear this up, I think. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody. Got a terrible sounding throat. Today might be a special show, especially for you teachers out there. Those of you, my friends who are teachers, I love and respect all teachers. It's a hard job. It's an unforgiving job. And the Alberta government has decided not to negotiate with our teachers that were on strike and actually take away their rights to association here in Canada and force them back to work. I saw the buses this morning when I was driving my wife to work. She's not a teacher. But there was buses, and it was both nice and sad to see the buses back on the road. I can understand the fight that parents have. They got kids that need to be in school, but then they need to respect the teachers and the unions. It's a hard place. And the government always, or the organization that has the union, always puts someone in the middle, always makes it hard for us to say, I want to support the union, but at the same time, if I don't, then XYZ is never going to happen. So my cat has just crawled behind the computer, so that's why it's shaking. Go to sleep, Chan. She's just right behind the computer screen. So, yeah, my teacher friends, are you thinking of changing careers right now? Think about that for a few minutes. We're going to come back to that as soon as I'm done this next segment. We're going to talk a little bit more about teachers and what you could be doing because you're a teacher. All right, let's do my new segment I'm trying to do each show. Now trending. And of course, this week you can see I'm using the Halloween font and we're listening to the Halloween background music. But now trending. Let's share my trending screen. Now, all I've done is go to Google Trends, trends.google, and I've searched for Alberta, Canada in the trends, and I'm looking at the last 24 hours to see what's going on. Australian women versus Indian women. India women. What is this? This is women's cricket? This is cricket? It's trending here in Canada. Women's cricket. Women's World Cup. That's awesome. And this is probably a pretty big game because India, big lovers of cricket. Oh my. Yeah. 50 minutes ago. Let's just pop in here real quick. I have no idea what all this stuff means. That's an ad. This is... I know nothing about cricket. I don't understand what the heck is going on. Maybe it means something for you cricket lovers, but it don't mean nothing to me. That's trending. That's we do have a growing immigrant population here in Alberta, and that's awesome. It brings us culture, it brings us new ideas, so we definitely should be supporting cricket as it grows. I think pickleball is also growing. I'd never even heard of pickleball before 5 years ago. So here we got Epic going again. I think this was going on the last time Epic was trending. I think was because of the Blue Jays and their Blue Jay games. Now it looks like Epic Game Stores. Okay, you gamers. Epic Game Stores have some free stuff going on. Free horror games for Halloween. Ooh. Well, maybe that's something worth looking at. So, maybe if you're looking for some scary games, Epic is doing some free stuff. AUPE. Alberta Union of Public Employees. AUPE. Right, we got hybrid work model is ending for employees in February. A lot of employees upset about that, especially when a contract might say you have the ability to work in a hybrid or work remote. All right, included as of August. And 12,000 employees are going to be losing their hybrid work model. Way to go, government of Alberta. Way to upset people. That's awesome. GO seeks end of hybrid work for all employees, right? This is the AUPE. This is why this is trending. Interim hybrid work policy. Oh, they called it interim, so 44% of all the government of Alberta employees. Yeah, so yeah, let's teachers, let's take away. I mean, current Alberta government isn't looking very employee worker friendly. Traditionally, governments need unions because it's a bad place to work, either in the past or now. If any organization has a union forming or formed in the past, it's because that was a bad place to work, man. That was a bad place to work. Metastock, what's going on with Metastock? Drops 10% as heightened AI spending overshadows strong third quarter something or others. Oh, they're putting a lot of money into AI. AI is coming. AI is here. You need to learn AI for sure. And if you can afford a Metastock, you might want to buy one right now. Because it's on sale. Yeah, that's what a lot of big investors did. It dropped 10% and they're like, buy. How much is one stock? It doesn't even say. Anyway, that's an indication for me to buy. I am not an investor. Don't take any advice from me. Know how I invest the little money I have? Index. No, not index. Actually, I kind of hate index stocks. Index funds. I meant dividend funds. Dividend funds. Because it's self-growing. The dividends get reinvested into it and it grows on its own, so you don't even have to add too much extra to it. Just put your big chunk of money you have into a dividend fund and then just leave it for the next 20 years. Why is Sydney Sweeney trending? Her dress. Women thrive, the community thrives inside. Variety is power of women, ever featuring Jamie. Oh, whoa, what's going on here? Whoa, giant ad just popped up. Well, thank you very much. We're not looking at that website again. Oh, another ad. Variety power of women. All right, it's sheer. That's why. Oh no, someone is wearing a piece of clothing that you can see through. It happens, man. And look, it allowed her to trend. Yay. Who is this? I have no idea who this is. Baseball players. Must be. Oh, he's just one of the players. He's just one of the players. Yeah. Again, I don't watch baseball. Guess he's a good player. Guess he was worth the money he made this year. Classroom. The word classroom is trending. Where's classroom? It disappeared on me. School janitor who sexually assaulted 8-year-old girl in empty classroom. Oh my God. Yonkers janitors into Bronx. Oh, Jesus, this is terrible. Oh. Wow. That's sad. That's sad. Student walkout Alberta. What's going on here? Alberta labor leaders gauge interest in general strike. general strike 5 hours ago. Calgary students joined province-wide walkout backing teachers. Are we supposed to be walking out today? Maybe I shouldn't be going live today. Thousands of Alberta students, including many in Calgary, walked out of class Thursday morning. This is Thursday. Show support for the teachers who were legislated back to work earlier this week under the province's Back to School Act. That's where they took away our rights. The walkouts are planned by students through social media platforms such as Instagram and YouTube. Oh, excellent. Look at all these schools. Look at all these schools expected to participate. Woo! The list is long. Way to go, students. Way to go, students. Way to support your teachers. What's this? Games now? Rose Bowl accuses UCLA of trying to move football games. Oh my God. American football trending here in Alberta. Halloween's trending. Halloween safety tips. Windsor Police and OPP. Who's this? Storm Melissa. Oh, this is this one that hit Jamaica. Oh, man. We are seeing more and more hurricanes. Or we're getting more news. We're getting more news about everything, right? So we can look at the stats. There are beginning to be more and more hurricanes coming each year. It is happening. Multiple hurricanes at the same time. More and more happening, right? Now, is it hurricanes or is it kaiju coming up from the mid-Atlantic ridge trying to attack, and the storms are actually being made up by our governments as they attack these kaiju and blow them up, and the storm is just kind of the result of their nuclear attacks against these kaiju? Probably not. But it is alarming to see the world changing. Environmentally speaking, it is here. We can see the change. We can feel the change. Anyone who denies that is not reading a book, man. Sorry. Get in the know. Get in the know. And that's why teachers are so important, because the teachers teach us. I'm so grateful for all the teachers I had. Except for that time they voted against me when I ran for the school board when I was still in grade 12 and 19 years old. Whatever. They were uncomfortable having one of their students as their boss. So, I mean, I guess I have a history of shaking stuff up. So that's probably not good. But the teachers, such a rock and a hard place. Do you continue striking under threat of fines? Do you go back to work, shut up for the next 5 years? Because they can extend a notwithstanding clause 5 years. They only did it for 4 on this particular situation. But the notwithstanding clause takes away rights. For the Canadian Constitution, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, this is the same things like the U.S. Constitution. These are rights that are in there. And the notwithstanding clause allows you to suspend human rights for an emergency. We're a bunch of exhausted teachers fighting for a little more pay and smaller class sizes, an emergency that you physically take away the rights of Albertans. Like, was that the emergency? Was that the hill to die on? I mean, now we see the other unions talking about general strike. But they're reading this document too. I saw a little clip from TikToker Nitty. She gets into the nitty gritty of things. And she always examines all these documents and does the proper investigating. I love her. I love her TikTok channel. And she mentioned that the wording of the act suspending the strike and forcing teachers back to work was kind of loosey-goosey. It indirectly implies or allows the same penalties to be extended to other organizations that might support the teachers. So other unions, other groups of people, if you're bad-mouthing this use of notwithstanding clause, you might get fined, or there's a threat of fines. But now we got the students walking out. Good on you, students. And the other big unions, AUPE, considering forming a general strike with all the other unions in Alberta. So we're looking at 300 to 500,000 employees in Alberta that are under a union umbrella. I'm not sure the exact number, but since most employees work for small businesses, there isn't a union. There's no union for them to be a part of, to ask them to go on strike. But any larger organization that has formed a union because historically they were a bad place to work, all I can say is if you got a union, you had a bad place to work. You didn't know how to manage that company properly. If your employees had to fight their way to proper rights working for you, you got a bad organization. That's just period. End. Full stop. A good environment. The employees never think to strike, never think to organize into a union, because it's a good place to work and they're all happy, man. So, general strike, maybe, but there is a real fear out there that people are going to get fined. Every day it happens, right? So, notwithstanding clause, I think it's unjust, and I think it's a bad move. I mean, I just don't understand how we got here voting in these types of governments. It feels like a big shadow of what's happening down in the United States, right? So, what's going on? Teachers, my beloved teachers. Teachers are so important, so vital to not only a progressive country or province, but also scientific, knowledgeable, economy and society, right? If we don't have skilled engineers and scientists and things like that, we're not developing the technology, we're not moving forward with amazing things. How does the government expect our economy to grow? right? Like, come on, man. We need smart people. I think about around the world where education isn't possible because authoritarian governments, apartheid governments, women not being able to go to school and learn. I think about all these children and these young adults and anyone who's grown up in those sorts of environments. The potential we've lost. How many Einsteins are we losing every year because we're not giving people the opportunity to learn and grow? Man. I wouldn't doubt it at this point if we're losing one Einstein a year at this rate. Somehow they didn't get the opportunity to learn. God forbid they didn't get killed in some sort of war zone. But I don't doubt we're losing the potential of one Einstein at least every year. At least. It's probably closer to losing an Einstein a month. But we are definitely losing our future growth. Right? So let's move along. If you got a question, ask it in the comments. I'm looking for anything career related. You got a question about anything, cover letter, resume, job market stuff, job search advice, whatever you want to talk about. Oh my God, the middle of my back has gone itchy. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, live on screen for you is Ian's back scratch. Oh, man. Oh, that's the highlight of the show, baby. My bear claw back scratcher. It's sharp. It's almost dangerous. Whew. All right. We're going to get back to what I think teachers should be doing right now. So, if your students are not getting the education they need, and I know this is a big ask, but why aren't more teachers teaching their lessons here on YouTube or some sort of form? Record your lesson. Teachers, I think you'd be natural for sitting in front of a camera because you sit in front of your class all day and you're teaching them. So I see it like this. Yes, I'm asking you to do extra work. But in preparation of times like this, teach your lessons to the universe, to the camera. If you can go through the Alberta school curriculum, teach all that, and then wherever you feel a certain lesson is missing an idea, a topic, an extension of that topic, put in an optional video, right? So this is your lesson. This is what you would learn in this class at this grade level, right? And then had any optional videos connected to that. Now, if we get a whole bunch of teachers doing this, we're going to get a lot of great educational stuff put out there into the universe, put into the YouTube algorithm. And since the public school curriculum is public, you should have no issue teaching to it on a YouTube video. Just don't use any copyrighted materials. You know the drill. You know the drill. No teacher ever goes to the photocopy room and photocopies an extra 20 copies of the textbook. That never happens. So continue not doing that. So, teachers, I'm Mr. Hopfy, and I teach grade 3. All my lessons for the year I've put on YouTube. Any optional stuff I put in, any changes to the curriculum, I had an extra video. I'm gonna sneeze now too. Jeez. Oh. So, evidently I didn't mute myself, and I don't know how to use the goddamn mute button properly. I apologize. Don't stitch that bit and make fun of me. Don't do that. But if you do, make sure you tag me so people will come visit me once you go viral with your video. Anyway, so the teachers were putting out all the curriculum. As you, I am the teacher. My students know me. My students trust me. Some of my students might even love me because I'm an amazing person. I'm like their second parent, right? It would be awesome if you suddenly went on strike, or God forbid something worse, you continue getting on strike and every teacher across Alberta gets fired, like Ronald Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers back in the 80s. It's happened before. But so now your students could continue their lessons with your face, with your friendly face. Continue learning from someone they know, like, and trust. Mostly. Right? And if you're doing this anyway, you could be in class explaining it one way, and then you could tell them, go watch that YouTube video. I explain it a different way, and it might help you. Right? It's once the material's there, you just have to do updates when curriculum changes or current event changes, whatever it might be, right? That's a big ask. That's a big ask. Now, you got all this extra time that you're putting into it. And I know teachers already come in early, work through their lunch, stay late, spend their own money on classroom decorations and supplies. I mean, teachers love teaching. So why don't we treat them better so that they can continue loving what they do? So if you're a teacher, what's stopping you from putting all your lessons online? It will be your own YouTube channel. There is a possibility that it could get monetized. So there's creative ideas out there for you. There's the standard way we think about monetizing, and that's getting approved into the YouTube ad program, right? But you only make a lot of money off ads when you're getting millions of views. That's when you're really making lots of money. So I wouldn't rely on that. But if it's your students and or younger people that might be watching your videos, then I think you need to find an affiliate program that you could join, that you would link to. It would be at the bottom of every video. It's the only link you're advertising. It's just an affiliate link. I want to say, yes, let's be noble and say, to learn more or to do more studying, get a tutor or buy this learning package. Nobody wants that shit. I just watched my favorite teacher teach me the lesson. I want to support that teacher in somehow, but I want to support them in a way that is reasonable. Okay. It's a large chance, big chance that parents are going to be watching this video at home with their children. It's probably going to be on the parents' YouTube account that they're watching it. So there's a chance that you could sell a product to the parents. But you could also just join up, a learning game website, right? I don't know if Leapfrog has, or some sort of phonics or whatever program like that gamifies learning, right? We know the stuff. Parents use this stuff. Parents buy this stuff. There's the Mastermind. Is that Mastermind Game Store? I think they might have went out of business though. That's sad. But it was just all learning stuff. Learning games, learning things, and it was a beautiful place. If you could get an affiliate link for something like that, woo, and occasionally you go buy a product and you talk about it while you're doing your lesson, the kid's going to be like, oh, I need that to help me learn. The link is in the bio, man. Yeah, I don't know how many lessons there are, like teachers are teaching one lesson a day for like 5 subjects. Or if you're a high school teacher, you teach one thing. You teach biology 20 all day or whatever, right? Like, but you still you got those lessons that you can do. And we know there's stuff out there like Khan Academy and things like that. Maybe you could have a high school teacher could have an affiliate program with something like that, more advanced stuff. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to make a ton of money for the teachers, but it would certainly be nice if teachers could make just a little bit of extra money. I mean, if you do all these lesson plans up, and then you just do updates now and again, when the curriculum changes or when the world changes. Oh man, imagine making an extra $250, $500 a month. It would probably take you a couple of years to get to something like that. But I mean, that's a big help, especially when we have teachers. They get paid for the school year and they don't get paid for the summer, but they can spread their paycheck out over the summer. So our teachers, they have the ability to get paid while they're off during the summer, but that just means all year long they're getting a small paycheck. I mean, that's a struggle, man. That's a struggle. If they were getting, if they opt to get paid the full price just during the school year, that might make them seem a little bit rich, right? And that might be okay. But what do they do during the summer? Well, build you a YouTube channel teacher, get in there, get those lessons, film the fun things. Oh man, can you imagine being a science teacher, doing some crazy stuff, doing some crazy science stuff in a controlled environment, in a safe environment, right? You're not going to do certain things in the classroom. Might get dangerous, but you got some empty back lot where you do your science experiments. I'm not saying explode stuff. I'm not saying explode stuff, but certainly the ability, you have a larger area to create the lessons. I'm thinking like Mythbusters, man. I mean, those would be some fun videos. What about, oh my God, what about just reading storybooks, man? I bet you there are a lot of YouTube channels that are people just reading storybooks. Probably a ton. But you mix in creative things like that. All of a sudden, my teacher is teaching me a lesson, but then before I go to bed, I can watch a video where my teacher's reading me a good night book. Right? Like, oh yeah. Or you see your high school teacher, yes, they just did a science experiment and taught you a science lesson. But now the next video you watch, it's a little more personal. You get to know that the science teacher loves board games, and the science teacher talks about this new board game they learned. I mean, suddenly you can identify a little bit more with your teacher. I mean, there's an opportunity. There's also possibility of crossing some personal boundaries and things like that, but you got to deal with that as you go. You got to make sure that you're protecting your rights and your privacy and things like that. I'm not saying put your life out there and risk yourself and risk endangerment, but you're a teacher. Teach, right? That's what you do. Get creative and teach. I would recommend not making any videos in your classroom, certainly not during school time. Completely remove yourself from that environment. Do it at home. Get yourself a vinyl whiteboard or chalkboard. Oh, that. Everybody loves a chalkboard, man. And then every now and again in your backyard, you take your chalk brushes out and you go bang them, and you film yourself banging the chalk brushes and making the big white smoke. Woo! I bet you that would go viral. That might go viral. That'd be a short, but it might go viral. So, yeah, I think there's an opportunity, and we think about that for any business or industry, teaching, learning videos, right? Your industry, what can you teach? The idea is you're giving free value, you're giving you free stuff, you're building a personal brand, whether it's your business or it's just you. Just teach, man. Just make these teaching videos. I get a lot of people contacting me, and they are programmers. And they're like, hey, you got some work for me? Or do you need me to build you an app or something like that? And I'm like, man, I ain't got money for any of that. I'm a small business owner. I can't afford none of that. And then my next thought is, if I was a programmer, I'd be making a ton of programs. I'd have like 100 programs up on the Apple Store. You know, like I would just, everything and anything, any good idea I had, I'd just put it up there. And I'd sell it for like $1.99. And I'd just keep making programs and putting them out there. I might not be working full-time as a programmer right now, but I'm making all these programs, and they're becoming my portfolio, right? So on my LinkedIn, I'm like, open to work, looking for a full-time job. Check out all the programs I've created, man. And it's just this massive list of programs that are on the Apple Store, or I don't know what that alien store, the Android store, the Google store, whatever, right? You got all these programs, and they're out there. That's your portfolio. Just like an artist. You have an opportunity. Film yourself doing the art. I see these videos, people drawing, people painting, whatever. Same thing, construction industry. I see people building stuff. There's time lapse. We look at the bushcraft videos. Those are fun. Or they go out in the bush and they build a little house in the middle of winter or whatever, right? I'm thinking about this old house. Used to be a TV show where they would teach us how to build stuff, right? Now they're on the YouTubes, and it's been on there like 16 years or some damn thing, and they have thousands of videos on how to do all kinds of stuff they're teaching. Now, there were always a TV show and teaching like that, but I'm sure they have all kinds of partnerships with vendors and products and things like that, so they can make some money that way. But you're doing the same thing. Imagine you're an artist, whatever you're doing, and you get an affiliate program for art supplies, whatever you work with. This is, man, you could just narrow down and say, this is my favorite paintbrush. I use this every day. And then you can show it off. Here's my paintbrush. If you want this paintbrush, links in the bio, right? And you just sell paintbrushes. Doesn't have to be that complex. You can create a simple page, a link tree, and say, here's my top 5 art supplies, right? And you just refer people to it. I mean, I got a whole bunch of links, affiliate links and stuff like this, all my links in this QR code in the top corner of the screen right now. And it's got my ebooks. It's got the ability to connect with me, to get more consulting and things like that. But I've also got some affiliate links in there for Whatnot and Amazon. And I've got some of my gigs up there from Fiverr, things like that, right? Like, and that's all linked here. But after yesterday's live, which was side gigs, side hustles, and how to market your small business, I had an epiphany during that show that I should be just sending people the one link. I'm going to keep my link tree on my podcast. I'm going to leave that there, and it's got all my links. But everywhere else, in the comments, underneath the video, wherever you might be looking at it, I'm in the process of updating everything to just send people directly to my $7 ebook to solve staff drama in 5 days. It's a starting point. Because I'm in HR, and I know there's a lot of issues out there with staff, employees. I'm trying to help small businesses solve these problems so they can succeed and grow, right? So that's what I'm doing there. That's the start of my funnel, man. Oh, the screen is like way off. Chan, you're pushing the computer. So crazy cat. She's just right there. She's right there. Chan. Her ears aren't even twitching. She's just ignoring me. Nope. No, you're not petting me. So we talked about personal branding. We were going through something last week, man. And I think we were halfway through. And I I don't know. Give me a moment here. I'm going to quickly scrub through last week's video and see if I stop somewhere halfway through a topic. I don't think I left anything off last week, so that's fine. I just went through one of my videos and I'm like, no, that doesn't. I don't think that's. There was something last week, man. I was halfway through. I know earlier this week I was halfway through the racism scale, and that's on Tuesday, and I'll continue that next week. I thought there was something. I'll take better notes, man. I'll put better notes. I've been trying to put better notes into the show. Into the show notes so I don't forget stuff. Crazy. Ask me a question, though. Ask me a question. Resumes, cover letters, job search, yada yada. Oh, just got stuff in my throat. So, if you are looking for work, or if you are worried that your career sucks, or there's a chance you might be laid off, there's volatility in your industry, in your particular role, maybe you're freaking out about AI, honestly think you need to be building that personal brand and working on that networking and impressing people wherever you can. And I know that's hard, and I know a lot of us, we get a good, safe job and we feel good for a long time because it's safe. Excuse me. And then life changes. Something happens. And then we're not safe. And I know there's so many of us living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. I mean, my income from my business, my consulting business, is like, it's like being on rough seas, man. I got 50-foot swells and I'm doing good. It's scary on the way up because there's all of a sudden there's work. Then I hit the top, the work is done, and I don't see the next wave. All I see is going down the other side of the wave, man. And I'm just like, you got to be really frugal when you're running a small business. And I think we all need to find some way to give us that basic income. Now, I could argue all day that we need universal basic income. Everybody could use that. Who's paying for it? Alberta is filthy rich in oil. And instead of collecting our proper 100% royalties, we're giving deals to the rich oil companies so their stock prices will go up. Oh. Big employers in Alberta are, they employ the least amount of people. There's one organization, they employ a lot of people. But there's very few of these large organizations that do that. The real employers in Alberta are the small businesses. So that's you starting your crafting business to a business that makes multi-million dollars and has less than 99 employees, right? These are small business. 75% of all working adults work for a small business. So, the economy. To stimulate the economy, we need to make sure we have purchasers, buyers. That means the people have money to spend. If we have that, and that's universal basic income. If you're giving universal basic income to the 5 million Albertans, everybody gets $1,000, $2,000 a month. What are people going to do with that money? Most people are going to spend it. Most people are going to start buying more groceries. Most people will start to purchase more services that they couldn't afford before. Most people will consider upgrading their home, buying a better, renting a better place, things like that. Here's my sister. I just got a bog order for beaded poppies. Of course, we out of them. Mom and I will be doing an assembly line and seeing how many we can get done by the 10th. They want 40 and we guaranteed 12. Oh my God. Big order of beaded poppies that my mother and yes, bog order. I understood that it was big order. I just reading it out loud. Bog order. She got a bog order. This is Halloween. So bog order seems more appropriate than big order. Yeah, we're coming up on November 11th. Poppies. If you have an indigenous craftsperson beater that can make you poppy, you should go purchase it from them. Yes, I'm trying to get more sold. You guys are not going to have any fingers left. No. My poor mother and her beading, she's going to have these, they're either going to be big, swelled up fingertips, or they're going to be just worn down to little nubs. But it's scary. It's scary to think I might not have a job. I won't be able to feed myself. I saw a bunch of videos from the States. People are crying. People are freaked out that starting next month, they're not going to have any of the SNAP programs, the food, I'm looking for the word. Oh my God. Food stamp program that they rely on. We know that the minimum wage in the United States is very low, sadly low. So I think in most places in the United States, someone who's working full-time at minimum wage is working for poverty wages and just can't afford the living standard in their area. And food stamps, the SNAP program, I think is vital for a lot of people in the US. A lot of people. And that sort of thing here in Alberta, sometimes I think to myself, oh, I want to move back to my hometown in Wabasca because I feel like things would be cheaper, but they're not. They charge way extra for shipping and fresh fruits and vegetables are always so expensive. And I mean, when I was a single guy, I was kind of making do, but I would eat out a lot. I'm terrible like that. But Family of 4, man. Everybody traveled to the city to go buy groceries. Everybody. Because everything was cheaper, especially with a big visit to Costco or other big box store. But even now, that's getting, all those stores are getting more expensive. And our grocery bill in our house. So there's 3 of us in our house. My mother-in-law lives with us. And when my mother-in-law first moved in, our weekly food budget for groceries was $200. And we decided, well, let's bump that up. So we went to $225 and then $250 and then $275, $280. We are now budgeting for $300 per week, and this is $100 increase over the course of 6 years. And it's just like, what the heck is going on? And that's and it's even more because my mother-in-law pays for fresh vegetable delivery from a company called Odd Bunch. So every Saturday we get a big box of fruits and veggies, and that's $50 a week. I think it's $50, something like that. So our weekly grocery budget is $300, plus we're paying for this extra $50 for fruits and vegetables. They don't give us everything we need, so every now and again we do have to order extra things that we like. I make this giant salad. We have one of them big Tupperware salad fruit things. You're supposed to be able to put a whole head of lettuce in there and keep it fresh. I use it for salad. So when we get our Odd Bunch order, normally we got to get an extra type of lettuce, and I cut that up and whatever lettuce they give us, and then a bunch of the vegetables, and I just make this big salad every week, and it sits in a fridge, and that's awesome. But so our food budget right now is effectively $350 a week for 3 people. And we are trying as much as possible to buy the healthy stuff. Especially because I'm lactose intolerant, and any sort of meat products make me really sick. So I'm basically vegan out of necessity. So my sister says we only go to Slave Lake. Mom is single, and I just got her $400 to last till next month. Okay, well, she's single. $400 for a single person over 4 weeks. It's about $100 a week, right, for one person. And Slave Lake has the new big Walmart there. There wasn't a Walmart when I used to live in Wabasca, so Slave Lake really wasn't a destination to go grocery shopping. It was always, let's just go to the city. Or seemed like there was better stores in Athabasca just because it was a little bit closer to go. Or was it closer? No, it's further. It's further to go to Athabasca, but I don't know why everybody went to Athabasca. Anyway, it's faster to get to Edmonton when you go to Athabasca as opposed to going around through Slave Lake. Anyway, that's maps. We're not talking maps today. So, food budgets is going up. Everybody's struggling. If there was a universal basic income, we would be buying more groceries. We would be buying more services, more everyday products, possibly renting a house because we live in the dog park, right? These sorts of money and boost is really helpful, but we don't have that. So what do we got to do? We as employees, we are trying to get a raise. We are searching for a new job. because it's proven if I'm currently working and I move to a new job in a different company doing basically the same job in a different company, I can negotiate 20 to 30% pay increase. Right? That's the biggest income jump you can get. It's moving from one organization to the other. So we see this a lot on resumes. I see this a lot. It's these job jumping. So you have a young employee, they finish university, they start a job, but for some reason, they're only staying for like the first 5 years of their career. They're only staying at each job for 6 months to a year. And they get another job, and they get another job, and they get another job. And we look at this as being a bad thing. If you speak to an employer, they're like, oh, we don't like the people that are job jumping like that. It just shows they're taking it the wrong way. They think it shows that this person is unreliable. In reality, what the job jumping shows is that these people are eager to make more money and gain that financial respect in their first job that they're not getting. But they can job jump for the first 5 years of their career and go from, $50,000 a year to 110, right? And be in a good role because they slowly jump up over the course of a few years. And that is perceived as, just unreliable person because they can't hold down a job. No, they are eager. They are talented. The next company keeps hiring them, and they get paid more money. This is proven the fastest way to get a raise is to job jump. Right? And this, it just shows if you see someone job jumping, you better offer them a good wage so they don't jump again. And you're also offering them continual raises, cost of living increases. So you're doing cost of living raises and merit pay increases. An employee needs to be able to see that even if they don't do a good job, or if they do just a good job, they're going to continue to get a raise every year and not get behind. But if they do a great job and they become your rock star, they also know that they're going to double up on them pay increases. So they're going to get the yearly cost of living, and then 6 months they're going to get a merit increase, and then 6 months later they're getting a cost of living, and then 6 months later they're getting a merit pay increase, right? That's what you want for your employees. So that's what we as job hunters are looking for. This organization where we know if we stay, our income will, at the very least, keep pace with the cost of living. But if we work hard, we know we're going to get ahead of the cost of living. So that's what we're searching for. And I would say, don't be scared to do that, because you got to look after yourself. You got to look after number one. God, this cat. Chan, why you got to squish my computer? Cords are getting squished up. So if my interweb cuts out and you suddenly can't hear or see me, that's because Chan the cat has messed up my cords. Anyway, so how do you equalize this? You are trying to advance your career, make enough money to survive and get ahead of the rat race, right? Well, you get a job and you build a career. Okay, great. That's kind of what we were all taught in school, but there are other options now. I don't necessarily agree with the gig economy, but it is certainly a gateway into freelancing, consulting, whatever, possibly learning new skills that you can use to get that better job, that job hunt. This hair is freaking me out. I gotta get a haircut. I'm sorry. Okay, now it looks crooked. Oh, I'm so vain. You probably think the song is about me. So, it is about me. So we're looking for that side gig, side hustle, small business that is going to slowly but surely augment our income. Imagine you have a job and you love your job. You love the people you work with. You actually love the organization, but you know you will never get a substantial pay increase, and there's probably no possibility of getting a promotion anytime soon. But you love it and you really want to continue working there. But you're in that situation where I gotta make more money, man. So many of us leave a good job, our favorite job, a job we love, just because we can't afford to continue being there. So we try to supplement with that with evening job, weekend job, part-time job, something like that. But that means we're doing 8, and we're doing another 4, you know, possibly doing another 8. 16-hour days. I mean, if you have a good job and you're doing 16-hour days and you're getting some nice overtime and you love that job and you don't mind doing the overtime, you can really make a lot of money. And that's a lot of industries in Alberta are kind of built on that. You get hired, you're doing something, I don't know, you're a welder, you're a laborer in some sort of industry or something like that. And certain times a year, you're doing turnarounds, startup shutdowns, right? Like all these sorts of things. And or they're trying to rush a job, a pipeline getting done or whatever, right? So you can make some real extra OT for you and your family. And that's great. And if you can keep that up, that's great. Of course, you got to think about, can you keep that up for the rest of your life? What do you need to do to level that off? Because your knees aren't always going to work. Once you start getting over 40, over 50, maybe your knees aren't working. Right? So I spoke last week a little bit about, was it last week? It was either last week or the week after, about, say, a truck driver or heavy equipment operator who just films themselves running the equipment and they're uploading these videos to YouTube. After a year or two, that YouTube channel is going to have a lot of content and it may be popping off. You might actually get to a point where you are starting to make regular money on YouTube. Maybe you found some affiliate programs that you could join, or you've designed a training program. This is how you operate this piece of equipment, right? And it's only $25 to watch this mini training program, right? And you sell hundreds of those a month, right? How do you translate your skills into something where you're building your own asset, you're building your own company? I got nothing against people that need to go out and get that second job and work their butts off. It may also be something that you enjoy, and that's great. And we are in situations where we gotta just suck it up and do the things. And I keep thinking about myself, and I'm like, man, I couldn't do a fast food or retail job ever again because I can't stand for those large amounts of hours. My last retail job, I was at a movie gallery, a video store, and I had to spend a lot of hours standing and hunched over a stupid computer screen. We had like these crooked screens, so we were typing like this, and I'm looking down at the screen, and that was bad on my back. It was bad on my knees and legs. You know, I find it silly that we have so many businesses where we are expected to be standing for the job. Really? Standing? And the only thing I could think why they need us to stand is just so that the customers don't think we're lazy. I mean, give people a break. If you're running something, a machine, a till, and you're just there, why not have a chair, man? You're going to have some older employees that can continue to do that job well. They just need a chair to sit on for the next 10 years before they retire, man. Like, really? Why do we have to have these jobs where we got to stand? Oh, you got to stand. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, I say. So there's, and that relates us back to the hybrid work models and the work from home models that the Alberta government is trying to get rid of and things like that, right? That's a whole nother can of beans, can of worms, can of worms and beans. Worms and beans, the new beans. Okay, worms and beans. The spice must flow, and you got this little worm jumping on a bean in the image. Oh yeah, baby, new product. Worms and beans, beans and worms, beans and worms sounds better. So, yes, go out and get that second job if you're gonna do that. But I think we all need to be building something for ourselves, all of us. Because we can't rely on trading time for money forever, especially in a world where small businesses, big business, they can just go under all of a sudden, right? They can choose to make cuts to employees after you've been there for 11 years. Or worse yet, you've been there for 25 years and you're about to retire and they fire you before you retire. So, I think every employee needs to build something extra. So, you're looking for your next good job. You're employing the job jumping tactic. Every time you learn a job real well, you start searching for the next one that's going to teach you a little bit more and pay you a little bit more, a lot more, 20 to 30% more every time you jump jobs, right? But you got to make sure you stay long enough to learn the job and really get those skills. That's the only caveat. Make sure you actually learn the skills. So you're doing that. Everybody should be doing that. Especially if you're early in your career. If you're later in your career, you love you're in that I love my job, I don't want to ever leave it situation, but you still need to make more money. So you're in once you get to that stage, or if you're just young and you're not making enough money, so you're continuing that, you may need that second job. Last time I had 2 jobs, I was working at the movie gallery for $12.50 an hour. And I was also working weekends at a club at West Edmonton Mall. And I think Wait, I think the movie gallery I was making $12, and at the club I was making $12.50, and I was only doing like maybe 4 to 6 hours, Friday night, Saturday night type thing, right? And it still wasn't enough money. This is before the $15 minimum wage came to Alberta. But I think there's still a lot of people that are struggling at $15 an hour, because it's not the local living wage. The local living wage in Alberta is something more like $20, $21 an hour, province-wide. I think it's something like that. So if you're not making in the low 20s, you're making poverty wages. So you got to find some way to supplement that. And even at the living wage, we're all different. We got different lifestyles. We got different things. Some of us have vehicles. Some of us don't have vehicles. Some of us own a home and have mortgage. Some of us live in a studio apartment for half the price of a mortgage, right? We all have different things going on. So our cost of living is always different. But if you're making less than $21, $22 an hour, you got to find a way to get that up. Whether it's job jumping, whether it's getting that second job or third job, or building some sort of personal brand, a personal asset, or that could turn into a small business for you. You need to work on that for like 5 years, at least, trying to grow that. And imagine if your business, your side hustle gets to a point where you're making an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. How many people could completely turn their lives around with an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month? That is life-saving, life-changing amounts of money. Shoot, some people could get that with $500 extra a month, right? So what can you do? You're an expert in something. At the very minimum, start teaching your expertise, whatever it is. And you start doing that by just throwing videos up on YouTube. This is the same tactic that I'm saying the teachers should be doing. And then you choose some sort of affiliate program, or you create something. I have an ebook, $7. Go buy it. It's called Stop Staff Drama in 5 Days. Small business owner, you go buy that right now. Go buy it right now. I want to see everybody click on this QR code right now and go purchase that. This is 5 days. You're going to solve all your people problems, or you're going to start to, right? But I have something that I'm selling, and that's the start of my funnel. You don't need to create something like that, or you could do something more fun. We talk about artists. You're painting, you're drawing, you're doing digital art. Oh yeah, man. You're going to TeePublic and you're getting an account and you're putting your artwork on t-shirts. Right? It's your artwork. Now you're selling t-shirts, and your link, I have a TeePublic link in my link up here on my link tree, my creative side. And I do like HR t-shirts and stuff like that, funny quotes and things like that. And if you're an artist, especially if you're an artist, my God, just start throwing your artwork up there. These t-shirt type stores, TeePublic, Redbubble, you really make some money. I mean, there's different options through Etsy. and also through Amazon. I chose finally to do TeePublic because I wanted something that's really simple. If you go buy a TeePublic t-shirt from my TeePublic store, I'll make like $2, man. But imagine I'm an artist and you're watching videos of me do my art. And I got one link to my TeePublic store, and you can go get my t-shirt, or you can go get my piece of artwork on a tapestry or something, or on my baseball cap, or a coffee mug, whatever, right? All you're doing is just making the art. And you got that one link to your TeePublic store, and you're selling t-shirts, right? Anything you're an expert in, you should be able to find a way to teach it and monetize it. Get creative. Sit down and brainstorm every possibility. And just keep it simple. Keep it as simple as possible. You don't have to go into 14 different ways. You know, you see these videos about most millionaires have 7 forms of income. 7. Chan! Quit turning the screen. She's so mean. So we're closer now because Chan has pushed. She's looking at me side-eyed. She's trying to sleep again. Anyway, anything you do, you're an expert in something. Teach it. Teach it. Be a teacher. Support our teachers and teach stuff. Right? And man, just don't be scared of the camera. This is scary because I'm live. I don't know what people are going to say. I don't know what people are going to chat. I don't know about the comments that I'm going to get. Half the time it's like, oh, that's not a proper situation. I don't think people were being racist towards you. I get that every time. Anytime I talk about my lived experience as an Indigenous person, someone always comes out and says, oh, I don't think that was the situation, or I don't think that was someone actually being racist. Oh, shut your face, man. Anyway, you got something. You've got knowledge. You got a favorite thing that you like doing. Teach it. Talk about it. I mean, I was thinking about Magic the Gathering. I enjoy Magic the Gathering. I'm probably not going to do this, but I have a friend, Johnny. He is a way better Magic the Gathering player. If he just made little videos about, here's this card, and this is how I like to use this card. And he talks about 2 or 3 different strategies with this card. So I use this card, but I got to make sure I have this other card out first because it complements it. And once I get them out, then I can do this, this, and this. And he can, you know, and then he can say, now I'm going to play cards with Ian because I got Ian on the show and we play Magic cards. And he says, here it is. My card finally came out. This is how I'm going to beat Ian right now. I mean, like, oh yeah, okay, that's some Magic the Gathering entertainment. I mean, there's going to be a lot of gamers watching that sort of content. Now, if you're an artist, lots of people are going to watch that content, especially the shorts where it's sped up and they show you drawing it real quick or whatever. I mean, yeah, man. You just got to start making that content and getting it out there. Building that brand that you are. Whatever it is, you've learned something, you can teach it. So, and that's what I do here. I'm, you know, the stuff I've learned with marketing, stuff I've learned in my HR career, stuff I've learned, like this is HR stuff. This is me talking to about how you're going to get a new job, how you're going to advance your career. I mean, you might not become a multimillionaire showing your artwork on YouTube, but at the very least, that's your living portfolio and you're getting new content up. So you apply for a job that has to do with art. You can say, I have lots of my artwork showing on my YouTube channel. Here it is, right? And that's the proof that you're doing the art. And that you got to get creative and you got to think, how can my career, skills, expertise be translated into something like this? How can I teach it? And at the very least, people will see that I'm knowledgeable about what I do. So if I'm trying to get an HR job, or I like the idea if I could get a job in a nonprofit, at this point, I'm not too worried about how much money I make, because we're managing to survive on my crazy consulting income. But if I got that, even that low level job, I would still have some consulting money coming in, right? So working for a nonprofit and lower wage, $50,000 a year. I mean, Canadian, right? That's how much money I was making when I worked for the federal government for 5 years. And back then, we weren't as streamlined with our budget and things like that. So we were struggling. I was working for the feds. I was going to university still. So I didn't have the ability for a second job. My wife was working her full-time job and a second job. And I was working full-time job. And I was going to school in the evenings to get my degree. Right? This was tough times for us. And since then, my HR career has just been shit. Total crap, man. So I said, well, I'm going to start consulting because I know all this stuff and I need to share all this stuff, right? So my consulting business just, it's up and down. It's at high seas. It is a disaster waiting to capsize. But I enjoy it. I do. But if I found a really interesting nonprofit job that I could do, I would really enjoy that. So if you got a nonprofit and you need some HR manager type person in there, give me a call, man. Go to my links, book a meeting with me, hire me. So everybody's in this situation where we're looking for the next job, the next opportunity. You have one shot, one opportunity. No, M&M. What we got today is we have more than one option to advance ourselves financially, economically. We get our primary job. We get our second or third job, part-time jobs. We can start building a business, a brand, and start getting a little bit of extra money at the bottom end of our budget just to give us a more level income, right? And I mean, if you're not thinking that, I'm sad. I'm worried. I'm worried if you're not thinking about what the next step is for you. If you're thinking, I've been in this job for the last 10 years. I think it's secure. I got no problems. I'm worried for you. Send me your resume and I will give you some resume tips and you start searching for a new job. And or I will brainstorm with you and we will figure out what that personal branding asset side business that you should be building and growing. I love sitting down with people. You know, you've got this skill. Why aren't you thinking of doing that? Right? And I mean, man, whatever your industry is, whatever your skill is, whatever, even doesn't even have to be that related to your job or whatever product you got or whatever, right? Like, oh, I come back to Judy from Galesburg, Illinois. She's got all these awesome videos on TikTok where she's just doing fun advertising videos, and then she starts screaming at you, "My name's Judy. I have a restaurant. Come eat pancakes. I love Judy. I want to eat her pancakes." Why am I seeing Judy's content here in Alberta? I am probably a good 2,000 kilometers away from Judy and her family cafe where I could eat pancakes. Why am I seeing that content? That's because she's making good content. Imagine if you were Judy. Imagine for the last few years, all you were doing was making funny videos. And now, don't get me wrong, I hate the videos where people are lip syncing and doing the dances. I don't enjoy that. I like clipping. There's a funny video. When Judy does this, she'll clip a video and then she'll continue the video doing something else, right? Like, or whatever. I mean, I enjoy that. But you're trying to make them funny videos that are going to go viral. And you do that for 5 years. And you just have this one link on your website that's, go buy my $7 ebook. Or, I mean, if you like my content, give me a donation. I mean, like, it could happen. But I think you wanna get some sort of affiliate program or some sort of small digital product. But that's not what you should be worried about building, the product. What you should be worried about building is that branding and creating that content. So we, again, if you feel comfortable and you've been in a job for a long time, I both congratulate you and I feel scared for you. Now, sometimes you're in an organization where you've moved multiple positions. That's a little bit different. You're learning that business and that industry, so you are doing internal job jumping. But it's still with one organization, so there's still a possibility, right? When you think about people in government, maybe they'll move around, have some government jobs. But then on LinkedIn, when I see a government employee, whatever government level they're at the municipal level, so municipal, city, or provincial, or federal, I see multiple types of government in their history. They spent 2 years working at Statistics Canada. And they're doing like the phone interview stuff or whatever, right? Then they moved over to 11 years at the government of Alberta, and they had multiple positions. And now for the last 5 years, they're working for the city of Edmonton, right? It was all government work, but they've moved from government to government. And that's a little bit more stable because maybe they should be able to be a shoo-in for just about any government job that's related to their experience at this point, right? Because they've experienced it all at the 3 different levels of government. So I think that's great. They did the job jumping thing, and now they got a pretty good job. But still, now they're thinking, oh, well, I've done all this work, so I can start doing some consulting, right? They're building their business now. They're late 40s, 50s, and they're like, oh, I had a great career, and now it's time to do some consulting, right? And they're building the next phase of their life with the consulting. So I see that on the resumes. I see that on the LinkedIns, and I think that's great. Now, I also see some really exciting job jumps you see somebody, bartender or waitstaff at some restaurant, and you can kind of see that job is overlapped with their education. So they were working and going to school at the same time. They were finishing off their degree. And maybe there was another service type job that they went into after graduation, now that they could work more hours, different hours, not just the evening hours, right? So they moved. And then, because they have their degree and they're currently working, they get a great job, some government job or some mid-level manager job at some big business. And then they job jump a couple more times, and suddenly they're like vice president of sales at XYZ Corporation, right? Like they really had a great career, and they used their career jumping really well. Yeah, I think I'm worn out. I want everybody to, for your homework, is to go out, update your resume, and think about job jumping. You want to gain an extra 20 to 30% income, consider job jumping. Don't leave your job. If you got a job, I don't want to say suffer, but tough it out and do the job jumping. Update your resume. If you don't have a job, update your resume. If you're in a small town, sometimes it's easier to find a job because you know everybody. Sometimes it's harder because you know everybody. Consider going hardcore with your personal branding. We talked about that last week, so that you can build some sort of part-time asset. Build a YouTube channel with all your knowledge. Great YouTube channel I saw was the dad videos. I think he's also on TikTok. But he's just this dad figure, and he's like, today dad's going to show you how to change a tire. Dad's going to show you how to do this minor repair or whatever, right? So it's for these people that didn't have a dad growing up to teach them how to do stuff. My wife loves watching that because she didn't have a dad growing up. So I think she's really attached to this guy who talks about draining your hot water tank in the fall, right? Or changing the filter on your furnace. Like these sorts of things he talks about, and they're pretty basic life skills stuff. You know, these minor, how to change your own oil or whatever. Like he talks about these sorts of things. He's just being a dad, but he's got a great channel. He's probably making some money off this stuff, and it's just stuff he does. It's just everyday stuff. The hardest part is probably editing the videos. So think about that. Everyone's got a skill. I mean, if you got a good sounding voice, just start reading storybooks, man. Just today we're reading this book by so-and-so author, and you read the storybook and you put an Amazon link in your bio or in the comment section that links to that storybook. You get a couple hundred videos where you just read a storybook because you got a good voice. And you'll start getting people just go on Amazon and buy stuff. And the beauty about the Amazon affiliate program, people will click on your link, go to Amazon, look at the product that you were advertising or the page you were advertising. But, okay, so they buy that storybook. They also decided I need an air conditioning unit, which is a couple $1,000s. So they get the air conditioning unit and your storybook at the same time. You get money for the storybook, which might only be like 25 cents, but you'll also get $50 for the air conditioning unit that they purchase at the same time. So that's kind of a beauty of that, because it puts this tag on them and says for the next 24 hours or 4 hours or whatever, until they get a new fresh tag, anything they purchase through Amazon, you get credit for. So that's kind of the beauty of it. And the sad part is Amazon really has reduced their affiliate fees. So it kind of is still a numbers game. And I think that's where, if you can create your own product, a quick PDF that you can sell for $10, you sell this $10 product and you get to keep most of the money, compared to Amazon where you only get like 50 cents, 25 cents per sale. I mean, the comparison is, it's a completely different ball game, right? Yeah, I love that storybook one. I want to be just like LeVar Burton and reading Rainbow and just reading books, but I got terrible voice for books. I think I might scare. I could do a scary storybook time, and I could be reading the happiest kids book, and it would just be this it's a scary thing. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm burnt out. It's 1:18. We've been on the air for 1 hour and 46 minutes. I completely talked about nothing. I feel like I talked about nothing and we got no further in this discussion. I just want you to go update your resume and continue fighting the good fight to make the money for your family. Okay, all my links here. You want to connect with me in some way, or you want to see my ebooks, go scan that QR code. No more comments. I don't want any comments after this. I'll try to read your comments if after the live stream, and I'll try to answer you. But this QR code goes to my link tree. Here's my link tree, linktr.ee/IanTheHRPro. That'll take you to all my links. Yeah, and what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Halloween. Fun and games Friday. Halloween on a Friday, man. Woo! You love when that happens. Stay up late, eat all your candy, be sick all day Saturday. I mean, you're a young adult in your 20s. That means, oh man, you're gonna go party hard at the Halloween party. Woo! I am too old to party hard. So fun and games tomorrow. We talk about board games, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, video games, movies, music, books. Maybe I'll just read you guys a scary book. Pop culture, anything pop culture, we can talk about it. I have issues with some pop culture, so I gotta learn something. So if you want to come chat about something that's completely not in my wheelhouse, like you want to come talk Jersey Shore with me or Big Brother. I've never watched an episode of Big Brother, but my big sister has. I don't know if she still watches that or not. I watched like the first 2 seasons of Survivor, and I haven't since then. Me and my wife love to watch The Amazing Race. Amazing Race Canada, and we're currently watching Amazing Race. We like those, except this season of Amazing Race has just previous contestants from Big Brother, and it's kind of if you're not a Big Brother fan, then it's not as enjoyable as other seasons, as far as I'm concerned. But if you're a Big Brother fan, yeah, you probably love that shit. All right, So tune in tomorrow. We're going to talk everything and anything. Oh, I'm scheduled to go live on Whatnot tomorrow, I believe. So the show tomorrow may be me just selling stuff on Whatnot. Why is it not letting me get into Whatnot? I don't know. I swear to... So, there's another app I have on my program called Locket. It's supposed to be for sharing videos, important pictures. Anyway, so tomorrow, the Whatnot app says... Why is it... Oh, I don't know. I'm going to run the Whatnot app show on my laptop so that I got a bigger screen, because it's hard to do the Whatnot show on my phone. And so I got it scheduled tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. We're going to go live on Whatnot now that the Canada Post strike is mostly over. It's rotating, but at least I can get my stuff sent out, so that's good. What I will be doing is setting up my phone, and I will be using Restream on my phone, and I'll be streaming from my phone over here and running the Whatnot stuff here. So I will be streaming to most of the locations, but it will be in the portrait landscape. So yeah, I forgot. I'm going live to do some social shopping, sell all my cool stuff. So my Whatnot link is, if you want to join Whatnot, go into the links and you'll see it. But that'll be tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna let you go because I suddenly have to go pee. Okay.